What's poppin', y'all? Drake has been on quite a victory lap ever since releasing going 3 for 3 really on these albums that he's released. And he posted this caption, which really sent me on, not a spiral, but let's just say like a rabbit hole, like Alice in Wonderland, down into a conversation that I feel like we should all have together. And the caption started off with, I spent the last 24 months proving myself right. Of course, I'm about to have the summer of my life. Spend amounts on you that make my account roll his eyes just for you to show me how you really roll when it's go time. I clearly have a type, and I clearly only learn the lesson when the teacher is fine. And this is him posing amongst all of the accomplishments that he's had. So I'm going to separate this video into 3 different sections. Like the first section is going to be specifically about Drake. Then we're going to pivot into Tory Lanez and then potentially Rick Ross. It depends where my brain decides to take me as I'm just spitting my thoughts out there. I mean, it is tailored to a certain degree though. But this is a beautiful, beautiful response because it's the most hip hop response you can get. Because and he's saying that he's not saying he was wrong. He's not saying he made a mistake, which I do think the mistake that Drake made, if there was ever any, was the fact that he engaged in a beef with Kendrick Lamar whatsoever. I think had he just ignored Kendrick Lamar, how many times could Kendrick Lamar diss him before people would say like, damn dog, like you're really still chasing that dude? Like, come on, like, give it up. However, the storyline of Drake's career, I think it created more intrigue, more interest for him to recover from. So 24 months, he's not saying that he made any errors. He's not apologizing for anything. And he's saying, I was right the whole time. And now I'm back on top. And I'm celebrating it. And it's this mental strength and mental fortitude to go through what Drake went through, which is being accused of the worst thing you could possibly be accused of. Having people just combing through and scrubbing through every interaction you've ever had with a female whatsoever and trying to make it weird. Think about how this harmed any brand partnerships he had and just your mental health overall. Keep in mind, somebody in front of his home getting shot at, a security guard that works for him. I'm not saying that was related to the beef, but they were for sure running a lot of marketing that made Drake look like a disgusting, not even like a creep, like a PDF. They specifically called him that. So for him to come back and not apologize and say, I'm that guy, puff his chest out and demonstrate it with 3 great albums, hits on the albums, and even drop in hits in between that, like Some Sexy Songs for You. There was hits on that. Circadian Rhythm, I will always say, is one of the best Drake songs ever. And by best, I mean like top 20 for me. Like the guy's got so many hits. And how does this relate to a Tory Lanez, right? Because Drake has shown a lot of love for Tory Lanez. And it's this like the ability to impose your will on the world is something that's so admirable about hip hop. This is why apologies don't ever work. So we're going to move into the Tory Lanez part now. So Tory Lanez specifically, we all know the incident that happened, but we need a little bit of a refresher. And this is also tying to the recent Tory Lanez album that dropped. I listened to it twice. I like it. I like the album, right? Like there isn't much Tory Lanez music that I don't like. Did I want to hear a whole dedication to Dean and AB? No, but I think it was good. I think it was good to do. I do think the Slutty Bass project was better, at least off of first listen. This was a double album with like R&B, singing Tory and rapping Tory. Frankly, I like both. I can't even say I like singing Tory or rapping Tory more. And this album performed well. But keep in mind, Tory Lanez right now, this guy is another person who mentally, I really don't know where he finds the strength to keep it pushing. Because remember when Kodak Black, let's just talk about Lockup. Kodak Black was locked up, and we heard a lot of complaints about Kodak Black when he was locked up. Like, the judge, not the judge, the COs, they're beating me up, they're harming me, this and that. We heard, like, Kodak Black crying, and not crying literally, but it was probably his lawyers doing too. But it was just constant, like, oh, he's being harmed in there, he's not doing his time well. Tory Lanez got stabbed to near death. This guy's got stabbed 19 times or something like that. And he just thugs it out, laughs it off. Every time he's on a call with somebody, he's positive. The only thing we've heard that's a complaint about from Tory Lanez is the fact that, oh, he feels like he got screwed over and he should be free. That's it. There's no, oh man, there's bugs in here, I'm getting beat up. Nothing like that. Guy's got his head tall, and this isn't like a gigantic dude, right? I don't know how tall he is or how big he is in size, but significantly smaller than the average person, or to a degree smaller than the average person. And in 2020, when this whole fiasco happened, which we're not saying that Tory Lanez wasn't responsible, he was like completely thrown under the bus for it or anything like that. Like, he made a series of poor decisions, of course. And this is 2020, when he was just the most beloved guy. Like, he was so beloved that he was at a party with Kylie Jenner, macking on Kylie Jenner, and like she was messing with him to the degree that she invited him to a party. And he was also with Megan Thee Stallion, who was just coming off of Savage with Beyonce. So she just collaborated with Beyonce, massive #1 song. She's the new darling of female rap, and he's the guy that shot her. Well, yeah. And then now, 2 months later, he is the most hated guy. He goes from being the most loved, everybody loves his music, to go away, we hate you, you're the worst thing in the world. Everybody believes that he did it at this point. And there is nobody that is supporting him publicly. He's just getting railed on. And what does he come back with? Does he come with an apology? Well, he did call her the next day, or it was Kelsey, and apologize for everything that had happened the previous night, which some people take as an admission of guilt. But what does he do instead? No, he does not apologize. He does not back down. He comes out with the album, audacious album, Daystar. And you guys have to go listen to this album again. I'm really urging you to, because the bravado, the audaciousness, the just, like I said, your force of will. Like, you have to be so mentally strong to say, I do not care what anybody is doing. I have not spoken since. I have not given an interview. And I'm coming punching back saying I'm innocent. F everybody, using people like Ebro and those that have told him to go away, and puffing his chest out in a rap album that's unapologetic. And then he would follow that up with one of the greatest music runs I've seen in my life. Like, the level of quality of music that he released since that project was just incredible. And even until now, he still maintains his innocence. There's no apology. There's, I'm innocent, and I didn't tell. I'm not going to tell what happened in the situation. So we're never going to really find out what happened, because he didn't want to like snitch or whatever, which we know what happened. Kelsey, there was like some struggle for the weapon. But what happened? All it took was time, and now the majority of people, they don't hate Tory Lanez anymore. They'll listen to his new music. And did he ever apologize? No. Even the people that were hating on him back then, they've switched up. They're messing with him. Drake is messing with him again. He said free Tory. Has Tory's behavior changed? Has what Tory was involved in changed? No, none of that changed. Same thing with Drake. Has anything changed? Has the quality of music that Drake's put out changed? No. It was them being unapologetic, them keeping it pushing, taking some time away a little bit, letting time pass, and then dropping great music. And everybody switched up. Now, some people the entire time, if they're quite sensible, I like to think that I can be sensible at times, they were just listening to the music and like, yeah, I mess with this. This isn't that great. Okay, this is good. And they weren't letting anything else influence them. And the reason why I say like the Rick Ross part is, Rick Ross right now, he is suffering from a hate wave. That's what we're calling it. No more heat waves. It's a hate wave. Tory Lanez had his hate wave. Drake had his hate wave. And the difference between Drake and Tory Lanez is people were hopping on their hate wave to try to cloud up off of it. So Rick Ross was one of the people that hopped on the hate wave on Drake. And now that Drake is back on top, the hate wave has turned its way towards Rick Ross. So Rick Ross is getting clowned. Oh man, you're not on your private jet. Rick Ross is getting clowned. Okay, you're on commercial now. Rick Ross is getting clowned for his album sales, which I don't think are bad. Rick Ross is getting clowned because he says that he's better than Drake and he's not on his level. But it's that audaciousness. It's that level of, nah, I got it like that. that is going to carry Rick Ross. And Rick Ross has suffered previously. Like, there was nothing more devastating to Rick Ross's career than when 50 Cent tried to expose him. He thought he had a kill shot. That was the last bullet. And this guy just got up, rose from the dead. It was Call of the Haunted, and just kept it pushing and dropped hits. And that's what happened. And that's what I think will happen right now. Rick Ross is just going through a hate wave. I listened to the album. It's got good music on it. Rick Ross is going to continue being funny, being entertaining, and eventually it's going to fade because people aren't going to lock into a hate wave on Rick Ross for years. It's not going to happen. Same thing with like A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky had his brief hate wave, and that's gone. That's past. It's subsided, and they don't ever have to apologize. That's really the lesson here. It's like, especially within hip hop, you will never, ever get respected for apologizing or cowed or just weakness. Weakness is not respected. It is not admired. And I'll give you guys an example of somebody that tried to apologize or tried to be courteous or appease people. And that is none other than Macklemore. Macklemore, he was not favored in hip hop, really. I listened to like a couple of Macklemore songs. Immediately, Macklemore's career within hip hop was dead the moment he said, "Oh, I woke up in the 3rd grade and thought I was gay." It was over at that point. We're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? What the hell? We thought it was like some cool thrift shop song, which the music, I wouldn't say the music video carried, but the music video really amplified it. That was a cool music video, creative idea. But when Macklemore won and he apologized and sent a text and was just like, man, I don't deserve this. That gave everybody the ick more than anything Macklemore could have possibly released. Nobody ever wanted to hear from Macklemore after that because it was like, not only did you get an award that hip hop felt you didn't deserve, but you couldn't even accept the award. Like, you had to say that you didn't deserve it. You're not even confident in yourself. Why the hell would we want to listen to you? And it's this unbreakable, unshakable confidence that a Drake has. Like, for example, when Drake comes into the game, like the way that he came into the game, he wasn't rapping like everybody else. Yet he had so much confidence in that, like the So Far Gone, the Thank Me Later, that eventually people were like, yo, this is some fire. We're going to start messing with it. And then becomes the biggest artist. Same thing with the Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez was considered as biting Drake, especially early on in his career. He just kept it pushing, kept dropping good stuff. And then eventually now everybody loves his music. If you don't love his music, oh, there's something wrong with you. Like, you just don't like good stuff, I guess. And, everybody doesn't have their own taste. If you don't like good stuff, you suck. Okay? How about that? So Macklemore is one example. Who's somebody else that I can think of that's just apology after apology? It's like, what are you doing? You don't even want to support somebody like, and that's one thing that I love about hip hop is you can always recover. You can always come back. Like a Ye doesn't, I wouldn't say like he apologized not for anything that he did. Like, for example, the Taylor Swift situation, right? He's like, yo, I feel like me and Taylor might still have, engage in activity. This was in Famous. And he was saying that he made her famous. And this was after the whole situation happened at the VMAs. Years after, like 7 years after, because the VMAs was in like 2009, I think it was that happened, 2008, 2009. And then, of course, he comes back with an amazing album. And that's always the theme here. You come back with some amazing music, everybody's forgetting. You don't apologize, come back with some amazing music, and that's it. It heals all wounds in hip hop. Now in pop, those people are really like sensitive and gross. And frankly, I don't really like those stands for the most part because they're just, it's like soulless. Not that the music is soulless or the artists are soulless. It's just the stand base isn't really there. There isn't, I don't like to use the word morals. That's not the right. There isn't like a set of principles that holds them together. And one of the principles for sure in hip hop is like, get it by any means, do not apologize, no weakness. And that's why we see these people at the top. Like J. Cole is another example. We can never look at J. Cole the same. J. Cole is just, it's putrid. It's disgusting when I see J. Cole. You drop a diss track and then you apologize. It's just, you might as well have not dropped it at all. And then say like, man, that's not me. It's just sucker activity. And I think that's the level of disgust that Drake had too. Well, we all had this level of disgust. So that's another person that apologizes. And ask yourself, do you think Kendrick Lamar's respect for J. Cole went up or down after his apology? Or did it stay the same? you definitely know that Kendrick Lamar, being the competitor that he is, man, he probably spat on the floor just with disgust at like, man, this guy's a loser. And that's one thing we do not like, is a loser. Somebody that thinks of themselves as a loser. Like, oh, I'm just happy to be here. No, that doesn't work. You got to grab it and say, I deserve to be. Like a DaBaby. DaBaby has been the same for years. And DaBaby, what did he do? He came back with a hit. Refused to lie down. People were trying to beat it out of DaBaby. They were trying to break his will. And DaBaby was like, nah, he wasn't having that. Always puffing his chest out. Always thought he was the best thing there. And he came back with a hit. Now, if he was apologizing, saying, yeah, you guys know my behavior wasn't all the way there, people would stop messing with DaBaby, because the people that liked him for that, they would say like, oh man, this guy's whack now. And the people that were hating on him already didn't want to like him. But now he's got a hit. I think it's still a hit, isn't it? Well, it has been a hit. And he's back in business, baby. But J. Cole, come on now. How can we possibly listen to this guy again? Or not listen to him, but back him. It's just, it's something visceral about it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one. I expect to see some good discussion here. Like, please. I was having this discussion with myself in my head, just pacing around for the past 3 days before I put together this video. And I was like, man, I wonder what the guys and the ladies think about this. So I will be there in those comments. You know, I'm in damn near every comment section, but I will be there. And I hope you guys enjoy some conversation amongst yourselves with this. Or like also give me some examples where, and I do think the important thing to distinguish is whether someone is apologizing for an action that they did. Because like, yeah, you could say like, oh, he made an apology to the Jewish people or whatever. But you're like, that doesn't really change who Ye is. He's just doing that to, make amends. That doesn't change the character or the decision making that he made. Like, he doesn't take back creating a song or putting a song out there like that sucker J. Cole does. I get irritated whenever I talk about him. Please excuse me. I hope you can deal with that. But yeah, I'm out of here.